how do we deal with the isolation that we may be finding ourselves in, and at the same time being able to provide that safe space for your child?
So I believe in open communication. So if an adult, if a parent is feeling withdrawn, isolated, frustrated, fearful, we have to share that piece without giving details of what is really bothering us, because we don't want to place that on our kids. But sharing that kind of commonality of this is real, and it's okay to feel these emotions. So I have two daughters, 16 and a half and 13 and a half. And we often talked about what that feels like, because even though we're family, we may not always think the same and feel the same. So one child could be withdrawn, one can be completely, clingy, and we wouldn't know what would be the difference. So understanding our own child first would be probably the foremost. And if it's out of the norm, completely out of the norm, how they're feeling, that connect with them and talk to them saying, honey, like, this is what we feel, us as parents. Do you feel the same way, or how do you feel? And sharing that insight, because it makes them feel safe.
Is there something that a child might say that might be one of those moments where they're really asking for help? They're suffering, and it may not come across like that in the statement itself.
So my youngest one, who's 13 and a half, she has special needs. So cognitively, she's about 10. So she was in the beginning of COVID. She actually, after the first part of the year, 2020, she ended up going into school. And I think she lasted about a week. And what that looked like was she was withdrawn. She was showing signs of not, like frowning, tense. So her body was tense, and she hardly was eating. So I asked her, I said, what is going on? Are you okay? And she's like, Mom, I can't do this. I can't wear the mask. I really, there's too many rules. And for someone who's a parent to special needs kids, they maintain, and they need to maintain rules and schedules and routines. With anything that's add on, it puts a wrench into how they deal with it. It's too overwhelming. So she couldn't understand why she just couldn't breathe through this, and it was too much for her. So we went into online learning, and she has thrived for a while. But, as you and I have been through, the Zoom fatigue is that kids are seeing that now. We're seeing that in the kids with online learning. We're seeing that impact of, I'm tired, I can't do this. Sleep, insomnia. We're having insomnia now in kids more than we've ever seen before. And now as parents, we get worried, like, my kid is not sleeping. I try everything. And then naturally, we as parents would feel frustrated because we're trying to do everything possible for our kids to manage and keep them safe without them self-harming, going down to the depression site, which is a huge thing right now in teens and preteens. So it's actually allowing themselves to feel okay to say, Mom, I don't want to disappoint you. Dad, I don't want to disappoint you, but this is not working for me. And can we put our expectations aside as parents and say, yes, I get it. I get it.
Right. To allow them to have that voice.